I had opened the little velvet ring box so many times that morning that I had almost lost count. I opened it once after breakfast, then again while sitting at my desk, then again before taking a shower. And somehow, even after seeing the same beautiful diamond every single time, I still felt the same nervous excitement in my chest. I picked up the box and slowly opened it again. The diamond caught the morning sunlight coming through my bedroom window. I smiled. She's going to say yes. I said the words quietly, almost like I was trying to convince myself. For 4 years, Emma had been the center of my life. For years of ordinary mornings, late-night conversations, stupid arguments, birthdays, holidays, and promises about the future. I had imagined marrying her so many times that the picture in my head already felt real. I imagined Emma walking toward me in a white wedding dress. I imagined holding her hand. I imagined hearing her laugh when I became too nervous to speak. Most of all, I imagined this moment. Me opening the ring box. Me asking the question. Emma smiling through tears. Then saying yes. I looked at the ring again. This is it, I whispered. My phone suddenly buzzed on the bed. I picked it up and saw Marcus's name. I answered. Hey, Marcus. Daniel, are you really doing it tonight? I laughed softly. Yes. I told you yesterday. I know. I just wanted to make sure you haven't changed your mind. Why would I? There was a pause. Then Marcus said, because Emma has seemed distant lately. My smile faded. What do you mean? You know what I mean? No, I don't. Daniel, I've known you for years. Something feels different with her. I closed the ring box. You're overthinking it. I'm trying to protect you. I appreciate that, but Emma loves me. I hope she does. She does. Then why has she barely? By evening, I had convinced myself that Marcus was simply being overly protective. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my dark blue tie for the third time. Relax, I told my reflection. You're not going to war. I almost laughed at myself. My hands were shaking. I checked the ring box in my jacket pocket. Still there. I touched it through the fabric and took a slow breath. Tonight was my father's birthday dinner. Tonight, I was going to ask Emma to marry me. I walked downstairs and found my father standing near the dining room, checking the decorations. Happy birthday, Dad. He turned and smiled. Thank you, son. I hugged him. You're getting old. He laughed. Watch yourself, Daniel. Mom walked toward us carrying a tray. Daniel, you look unusually nervous. I'm Phoenix. She raised an eyebrow. You're terrible at lying. I smiled. I'm just excited about Dad's birthday. Dad looked at me suspiciously. Is that all? Yes. Before he could ask another question, Ryan walked into the room. He looked at me and immediately laughed. What's with that face? What face? The face of a man hiding something. Chloe appeared behind him. I knew it. I looked at both of them. Knew what? Chloe smiled. You're definitely hiding something. I shook my head. You two are imagining things. Ryan crossed his arms. Daniel, you're acting strange. I'm acting normal. No, you're not. I laughed. Can everyone stop analyzing me? Marcus entered just as I said it. He looked at me, then at my jacket, then back at me. He smiled faintly. Relax, Daniel. I walked closer to him. Did you tell them? No. Good. Marcus lowered his voice. Last chance. I knew exactly what he meant. I shook my head. I'm doing it. You're sure? I've never been more sure about anything. He studied my face. Then I hope tonight goes the way you want. It will. A few minutes later, I heard the front door open. My heart him. Dinner continued with laughter, stories, and my father complaining that Chloe had eaten more cake than everyone else combined. I'm sitting right here, Chloe said. Dad laughed. And I'm still allowed to complain. You've been complaining about me since I was 5. Because you've been giving me reasons since you were 5. Everyone laughed. I laughed too, but my attention kept returning to Emma. She barely touched her food. I leaned toward her. You really okay? She looked at me. I'm Phoenix. You've said that 3 times. Because I am. I smiled. Then smile for me. She tried. It was a small smile. Better. Much better. She lowered her eyes. I wanted to ask what was wrong, but I stopped myself. Tonight was supposed to be happy. I wasn't going to let Marcus's warning ruin it. Dad suddenly raised his glass. Daniel, say something. About what? Your old man. Everyone laughed. I stood slowly. Well, Dad, I'm terrible at speeches. Ryan smiled. That's true. Thanks, Ryan. I looked at my father. You've always taught me that family is everything. Dad's expression softened, and I'm grateful for that. Then I looked at Emma. She immediately noticed. Her eyes widened slightly. I felt my heartbeat quicken. Actually, I said, there's someone else I need to thank. Emma whispered, Daniel. He smiled at her. For 4 years, Emma has stood beside me through everything. When I struggled, she stayed. When I doubted myself, she reminded me who I was. Her eyes filled with tears. I continued. She became the person I wanted beside me for every tomorrow. The room became quiet. Marcus watched me carefully. Mom smiled. Chloe covered her mouth. Ryan said nothing. I reached into my jacket. Emma stared at my hand. I pulled out the little velvet box. Her face changed instantly. I took one slow breath. Emma, there's something I wanted to ask you for a very long time. I stepped toward her. My hands were. Slowly lower myself onto one knee. For a moment, nobody moved. I could hear my own heartbeat. Emma stared at me as if she had suddenly forgotten how to breathe. I opened the little velvet box. The diamond caught the warm light above us. Chloe gasped. Oh my God. Mom covered her mouth, and Dad smiled proudly. Ryan remained completely silent. Marcus looked at me, then at Emma. I barely noticed them. All I could see was Emma. Emma, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. 4 years ago, I met the woman who changed my life. Her eyes filled with tears. You stayed beside me when I had nothing figured out. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. She wiped her cheek. Daniel, I smiled. You became my home. She looked down at the ring. My hand trembled as I held the box toward her. I don't want another 4 years. I took a breath. I want every year. The room was completely silent. I looked directly into her eyes. Emma, will you marry me? Nobody spoke. Everyone waited. I waited too. I expected her to smile. I expected her to laugh through her tears. I expected her to say yes. Instead, Emma looked at me with tears running down her face. Her lips trembled. Daniel, I smiled nervously. Yes. She closed her eyes. I'm sorry. My smile disappeared. What? She opened her eyes and looked at me. I'm so sorry. My fingers tightened around the ring box. Emma, what's wrong? She shook her head. I can't do this. My heart dropped. Do what? She looked around the table before looking back at me. This marriage. He stared at her. For a few seconds, I couldn't understand what I had heard. Then she whispered the words that broke everything. Daniel, I can't marry you. The entire room went silent. I remained on one knee, staring at Emma, as if her words had come from someone else. Please, I whispered. Tell me I misunderstood you. She shook her head. I wish you had. My fingers tightened around the ring box. Then tell me why. I can't. You can't. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I'm sorry, Daniel. Mom finally spoke. Emma, please. Explain what's happening. Emma looked at her, then back at me. I never wanted to hurt Daniel. I felt my chest tighten. Never wanted to hurt me. She lowered her eyes. What does that mean? Nobody answered. I slowly looked around the table. Dad's smile was gone. Mom looked heartbroken. Chloe stared at Emma in disbelief. Marcus looked worried. Then I noticed Ryan. He wasn't looking at Emma. He was looking down. Ryan. His head lifted. What? Why won't you look at me? I don't know what you mean. I stood slowly, still holding the ring. Tell me the truth. Emma covered her face and began crying harder. I looked at everyone. No one spoke. And in that terrible silence, I realized the woman I had planned to marry was hiding something from me. I remained on one knee, staring at Emma as if my mind had suddenly forgotten how to understand words. The ring box was still open in my hand. The diamond was shining beneath the dining room lights, exactly as I had imagined it would when Emma said yes. But she hadn't said yes. She had looked into my eyes and told me she couldn't marry me. Emma, I whispered, what are you saying? She wiped the tears from her cheeks. I'm saying I can't marry you, Daniel. Why? I'm sorry. Please stop saying you're sorry. She looked down. I slowly stood up, but my legs felt weak. After 4 years? She nodded. After everything we've been through? I know. No, I don't think you do. My voice shook. You were there when I lost my job. You were there when I had nothing. You told me we would build our future together. I meant it then. Then what changed? She looked at me, but she couldn't answer. I glanced around the table. My father was silent. My mother looked like she wanted to cry. Chloe had both hands over her mouth. Marcus was staring at me with a painful expression. Ryan stood completely still. I looked back at Emma. Tell me the truth. I'm trying. No, you're avoiding it. She shook her head. I never wanted to hurt you. Then why are you doing this? Her tears started falling again. Because I never came here to become your wife. I felt something inside me collapse. What? She closed her eyes. I never came here to become your wife. The words echoed in my head. I looked at the ring. Then I looked at her. Then what was I to you? Emma opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I laughed once, but there was no happiness in it. For years, Emma. I know. For years. And you never saw a future with me? She whispered. I tried. That isn't an answer. I am sorry. I looked toward my family. I proposed to her because I thought I knew her. Nobody spoke. I suddenly wished I had never opened that ring. Stared at Emma. Was there someone else? She didn't answer. Emma, look at me. She slowly raised her eyes. I didn't know how to tell you. My chest tightened. Tell me what? She wiped another tear from her cheek. I've been meeting someone. The room seemed to become smaller. Someone. For months. I felt my fingers go numb around the ring box. How long? Daniel. How long? She lowered her head. Almost 6 months. I couldn't breathe properly. 6 months. I was confused. You were confused for 6 months while planning a future with me? I never meant for this to happen. I laughed bitterly. You never meant for it to happen? She shook her head. I wanted to tell you. When? I don't know. Before or after you accepted my proposal. I wasn't going to accept it. You still here. You knew. She nodded. You knew I was going to propose? Yes. And you still came here? I didn't know how to stop you. My heart burned. You could have called me. I was afraid. You were afraid of hurting me. So you let me humiliate myself in front of my entire family? I'm sorry. Stop saying that. My voice echoed through the room. Emma flinched. I immediately lowered my voice. I need the truth. She nodded. I'll tell you. Who is he? Emma looked toward my family, then toward the floor. Emma. She opened her mouth. Before she could say anything, the front door suddenly opened. Everyone turned. Sophia rushed inside, holding her phone tightly in one hand. She looked breathless. Emma, I just got the call. I thought you were still. She stopped. Her eyes landed on me. Daniel? I looked at her. Still what? Sophia's face changed. Nothing. No. I stepped toward her. What were you about to say? She looked at Emma. Emma shook her head. Sophia, please. I stared between them. Please what? Nobody answered. My heart started pounding. Someone tell me what is happening. Soph. I stared at Emma. What did Ryan promise you? Emma wiped her tears, but she still couldn't look directly at me. Daniel, please listen to me. I've been listening all night. I know. Then answer me. Ryan stepped forward. Daniel, this isn't the right time. I turned toward him. You don't get to decide that anymore. I'm trying to prevent this from getting worse. Worse? I pointed at the ring box in my hand. You watched me kneel in front of everyone. Ryan lowered his eyes. You watched me tell her I loved her. I know. You watched me ask her to marry me. I know. And you said nothing. I didn't know what to say. I laughed bitterly. You could have told me the truth. Ryan looked at me. I was afraid. Afraid of me? No. Then what? He hesitated. I was afraid of losing everything. My stomach tightened. Everything. Ryan looked toward Emma. I didn't want to lose her. I shook my head. You already had her. Emma whispered. Daniel, it wasn't that simple. I turned toward her. Then make it simple. She swallowed. Ryan told me he could give me the life I wanted. What life? A life where I didn't have to keep waiting. Waiting for what? She looked at me. For you. That sentence hurt more than I expected. Waiting for me? You were always focused on building your career. I was building our future. I know. Then why didn't you tell me you were unhappy? I tried. No, Emma. You didn't. She began crying again. I was scared you would hate me. I don't hate you. I looked at Ryan. But I'm starting to hate what both of you did to me. Ryan shook his head. I never wanted to destroy you. But you did. Silence followed. Then I asked the question that had been burning inside me. What exactly did you promise her? Ryan looked at Emma. She nodded slowly. Ryan finally spoke. I promised her that once everything was settled, we would start our life together. Istare. I looked at Ryan and felt as if I were seeing him for the first time. You planned all of this? Ryan shook his head. No. Then explain it. I didn't plan for you to propose tonight. But you knew. Yes. You knew I loved Emma. Yes. You knew I was going to ask her to marry me. Ryan lowered his eyes. Yes. I laughed bitterly. And you still stood there. I didn't know how to stop it. You could have told me. I was afraid. You keep saying that. Because it's true. I stepped closer. What were you afraid of, Ryan? Losing Emma? Losing Dad's trust? Losing the company? Ryan's jaw tightened. All of it. I stared at him. At least you're finally telling me the truth. Emma stepped forward. Daniel, please don't blame everything on Ryan. I turned toward her. Why shouldn't I? Because I made my own choices. You did. I knew it was wrong. But you did it anyway. She nodded. Yes. I looked at her for several seconds. Did you ever love me? Her face broke. Yes. Then how could you do this? I don't know. That isn't good enough. I was unhappy. You could have told me. I was afraid you would leave me. I shook my head. You left me first. She began crying. I turned away. I didn't want to watch her cry anymore. I had spent 4 years believing that her tears meant she cared about me. Now I wasn't sure what anything meant. Dad finally spoke. Daniel, there are things you need to know. I turned toward him. What things? He looked at Ryan. Ryan has been asking questions about the company for months. Ryan immediately said, Dad, that's not fair. Then explain yourself. Ryan remained silent. I looked at my father. What kind of questions? About ownership. My heart sank. Ownership. Dad nodded. You were going to become the next head of the company. I stared at him. When were you going to tell me? After your birthday. I laughed without humor. So everyone knew. I stopped near the door and looked back at Dad. What documents? Dad walked toward his study. Come with me. I followed him. Ryan stayed behind. Emma didn't move. Mom and Chloe remained silent. I entered Dad's study and saw several folders spread across his desk. What am I looking at? Dad picked up one folder. Company ownership records. I frowned. Why would Ryan think he could take the company? Dad opened the folder. Because he believed you had lost your position. I stared at him. What? Dad handed me several papers. I read them quickly. My name appeared on multiple pages. These are my documents. Yes. Why does this say my authority was transferred? Dad's face became serious. It wasn't transferred legally. I looked at him. Then why is my name here? That is what we've been trying to discover. I felt my anger shift into confusion. Who prepared these? We don't know yet. I looked toward the doorway. Ryan was standing there. Ryan. He stepped inside. I didn't create those documents. I stared at him. Then why did you tell Emma you could take control? I thought Dad had already decided. Dad shook his head. I never promised Ryan the company. Ryan looked shocked. But you told me Daniel might not take over. I said we were considering different options. Ryan looked at me. I misunderstood. I laughed bitterly. You misunderstood enough to destroy my relationship. I didn't know how far this would go. Emma suddenly entered the study. Ryan. He turned toward her. Please don't. She looked at me. Daniel, I need to tell you something. I was tired of hearing secrets. What now? She took a breath. Ryan didn't just promise me the company. I looked at Ryan. What else? Emma's voice shook. He promised that you would be removed from the company. My heart dropped. Removed? Ryan stepped forward. Emma, stop. I turned toward him. Let her speak. She continued. He too.